the signing into law of the Federal College of Education Establishment Bill, which is now an Act of Parliament in the Abia State. And I want to congratulate the good people of Bende on this establishment. I also want to announce that Mr. President had also assented into an Act of Parliament the establishment of the Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences in Item, in the same Bende State in Abia State of Nigeria. And as further assented to an Act of Parliament, the Federal University of Okiwe, that was sponsored by Senator Ndubeze. So I want to say congratulations to the entirety of the Southeastern Nigerians in general. So thank you. Mr. President, we are grateful. Point of order, yes, Senator Ndubeze.
Mr. President, my name is Engineer Patrick C. Ndubeze, representing Imo North Senatorial District. I'm coming under Order 42, personal explanation.
Yeah. Order
42, personal explanation.
What does Order 42 say?
By the indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate, a senator may make a personal explanation, although there be no question before the Senate. But no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate arise upon the explanation.
Noted. So you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, on this note of personal explanation, I want to seize this opportunity to thank the entire Senate, my colleagues, and enormously the President of the Senate for your support, for your acceptance of the bill on Federal University Okigwe that led to the passage of the bill. At the same time, I want to thank the entire National Assembly because it passed through both chambers. And enormously, the feelings, the joy of Okigwe people before and towards the Senate, and to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our Commander-in-Chief, for assenting onto this bill. I want to assure you that tension of the insecurity in Okigwe district is coming down since 2 weeks ago. You remember I sang a song here to you people that every other city, that's Obodoni Nemepechalo for Okigwe, that's just a song that has been there for ages, that every other place have developed except Okigwe. We are so surprised that Mr. President gave them this opportunity. And everybody is rising in every community meeting and all the rest of them, looking forward to see Mr. President to give him their own title and singing that Mr. President should continue and continue and continue. That they are giving the Mr. President and his party, APC, 100% vote in the entire senatorial district. And beyond that, Imo and Southeast, everybody is overwhelmed that Okigwe has come to live. I want to thank you enormously and thank my colleagues and thank Mr. President, His Excellency, Asuwaju Bola Ahmed. May the Lord, our God, guide him to complete this tenure and the next tenure and develop, change the scenario in this country that we shall live peacefully and all are being accommodated. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me assure you that your words of appreciation shall be reported to the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And of course, from these chambers, a lot of people definitely will see Mr. President, and it also, they will extend your words of appreciation and the appreciation of the good people of Okigwe and Imo State in general to Mr. President. For me, I had no doubt that right from when the President started with the tertiary education fund to give opportunity to the less privileged to get a loan to attend higher education. His love for education was very glaring. And the establishment of more than 38 universities and higher institutions so far is a record unprecedented by any president in Nigeria. So many of our students, millions, who could not get placements in federal institutions, and very soon those things will be a thing of the past. We just pray that God will give him the enablement and the finances to sustain this establishment. So congratulations, and thank you for thanking the Senate and the House of Representatives. Yes, point of order, distinguished Senator Ojus Okalu.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to go in the same order. Ndubeze, please go to your seat. Wadada. The Senate is sitting. Go to your seat. The Senate is sitting. You're not supposed to be standing there.
Senator Wadada, take your seat.
I was the former chief whip. Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank you for this opportunity you are giving to me. In thanking you in announcing these two educational institutions from our constituency, I also want to thank first the Deputy Speaker who moved it in the House of Representatives before we confirm it in the upper house. I want to thank entire Senate for giving us two institutions in our locality, both the university and the Federal College of Education. I want to thank my colleagues here who supported those bills, and thank Mr. President himself. President Tinubu have also shown that even when you don't work for him, you can gain. These two states did not vote for him, and I'm sure they are going to shower their votes on him in the next election, because giving us two universities simultaneously, one in Imo, one in Abia, and another college of education in Abia, that shows the love the president have for education. I want to thank everybody that contributed in this process of this bill. No one man can make a bill. A National Assembly, I want to thank all the members in the House of Representatives and Senate, and thank Mr. Senate President for what he has done, because in announcing this shows that you support education, and the President of the Republic also supports education. Education is very important in our life. People do not know the need for our people to go to school and learn in school. I want to thank you, Mr. President of Senate, for processing these two items from our state. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Again, I want to appreciate distinguished Senator Ojus Okalu, your words of appreciation to the National Assembly as a whole, the Senate and the House of Representatives are well appreciated, and we definitely will pass on the words of appreciation to the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Like you pointed out, it takes two hands to clap. So if both chambers are not in tune, there is no way this bill would have seen the light of the day. And further, we will also extend your appreciation and the appreciation of your people to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for his love for education. And clearly speaking, a lot of students who have tried JAM 3-4 times without getting placements remain very vulnerable to possible recruitment into all sorts of vices. So now, with the expansion of the of the doors of schools, definitely the insecurity will be minimized in many areas of the country. So I thank you for the appreciation, and congratulations to the Senate and the House of Representatives and the good people of Item and Bende and Okiwe in general. Leader of the Senate. Leader of the Senate. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the first business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Kaka Shehu Lawan on the Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 850. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 850, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 850, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the second business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of His Excellency, most distinguished Senator Oshiomhole Adams Aliyu on the Federal Universities of Technology Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 870. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Universities of Technology Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 870, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal Universities of Technology Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 870, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Banigo Ikpalibo Harry on the Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 872. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 872, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 872, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of His Excellency, distinguished Senator Goje Mohammed Danjuma on the Federal University of Science, Deba, Gombe State, Establishment Bill 2025 SB 874. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the Federal University of Science, Deba, Gombe State Establishment Bill 2025 SB 874, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal University of Science, Deba, Gombe State Establishment Bill 2025 SB 874, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Annie Anthony Okori on the Nigeria Institute of Apprenticeship, Entrepreneurship, and Vocational Studies, Onitsha Igbeze, Ebonyi State, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 877. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigeria Institute of Apprenticeship, Entrepreneurship and Vocational Studies, Onitsha Igweze, Ebonyi State Establishment Bill 2025, SB 877, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Nigeria Institute of Apprenticeship, Entrepreneurship and Vocational Studies, Onitsha Igweze, Ebonyi State Establishment Bill 2025, SB 877, first reading taken.
Comment.
Even if you are investing.
Muna la how it's supposed to be.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Solid Minerals Development on the Bitumen Development Commission Establishment Bill 2025 SB 07. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Thursday, 23rd November 2023. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Plank Dickett, who is standing in for Senator Ekon Sampson, chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Plank.
President of the Senate, our leader, distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Dickett Plank, Senator representing Plateau Central, and a member of the Senate Committee on Solid Mineral. I rise to move a motion to allow me, on behalf of the Chairman Senate Committee on Solid Mineral, to present before this hallowed chamber the report by the Senate Committee on Solid Mineral on the Bitumen Development Committee Bill 2025 SB 07. I so move this motion, sir.
Yes. Any seconder?
Seconder.
Distinguished Senator Zam.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Senator Dr. Titus Zam, I rise to support the motion moved by distinguished Senator Dickett that he be allowed to present the report of the Committee on Soil Minerals Development. I so second. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved for the presentation of the report and seconded. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Plank, you may proceed to lay the petition, the report, and thereafter you give us a brief summary. Proceed to summarize the report.
Okay, sir. President of the Senate, my colleagues, the Senate Committee at its plenary session on Thursday, 23rd November 2023, read the Bitumen Development Commission of Nigerian Establishment Bill 2023 SB 07 for second reading and the bill was referred to the Committee on Solid Mineral Development for further legislative action. The bill was sponsored by distinguished Senator Jimo Ibrahim, Ondo South Senatorial District. The bill, I would summarize what the committee did. The committee had an objective of ensuring that, first of all, public hearing was conducted, consultations were made, and other method of investigations were done. And after taking all these steps with the meetings and then the conduct of the public hearing and other investigations, the committee was able to come up with these observations that Nigerian bitumen deposits, which are in large deposits in the southwestern part of this country, cutting across Ogun, Ondo, Edo, within the onshore part of the Dahomey Basin, are the second largest in the world, with an estimated reserve ranging from 13 to 42 billion tons, almost twice Nigeria's oil reserve. However, this huge natural endowment is yet to be fully exploited for maximum benefit of the country. The committee also noticed that despite the availability of this natural gift in the country, there is no robust and cogent legal legislative frame in place to fully regulate bitumen development, exploration, exploitation for the benefit of our country. The committee also noticed that the bitumen, being a key component of asphalt used for road and other industrial applications, should, as a matter of priority, be extensively harnessed for both domestic and external use to add to the country's revenue for socio-economic development. We had several of those positive observations, and with these observations and confirmation by stakeholders who participated in this public hearing, the committee resolved and recommend that the Senate Committee on Solid Mineral Development, to which this bill was referred, having considered same, hereby recommends as follows: that the Senate do consider and pass the Bitumen Commission of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2025 SB 07. I so move for this acceptance of the report. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, distinguished Senator Kombowe.
I'm Senator Benson Friday Kombowe, representing Bayelsa Central Senatorial District. I rise to second this bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, distinguished Senator Monguno.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, this bill is in consonance with the fact that this government, the program of this government, as encapsulated in the renewed hope mantra, seeks to diversify the Nigerian economy, being a monolithic economy that depends on oil for other sources of revenue. And what this bill seeks to do is to diversify the economy away from oil with a view to exploiting the vast mineral resources that we have in the country. And from the statistics read out, we have a deficit of bitumen to the tune of 13 to 42 billion barrels reserves. And if these bitumen reserves are exploited, it will go a long way in improving the revenue of the country, thereby enhancing not only our foreign reserves, but also create more infrastructure, more employment, or in a nutshell, it will generate a lot of multiplier effect in the economy by way of employment and what have you. So on this note, I second the second reading of this bill. Thank you.
The leader of the Senate, there's no further contribution, so you may proceed. Let the Senate go into committee of the whole to consider the report.
Yeah. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Senate resolve to a committee of the whole for further consideration of this report. I so move.
The minority leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion moved by the Senate leader that the Senate resolves into a committee of the whole to consider the report further. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that the Senate do resolve into committee of the whole to consider this report. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So we resolve into committee of the whole.
Just look to page 1, hit the gap, then you start from 1 to 10.
Report of the committee on solid minerals development on a bill for an act to establish the Bitumen Development Commission of Nigeria and provide a legal framework for the promotion of research, study, investment, exploration, production, importation, exportation, development, and utilization of locally sourced bitumen in Nigeria and for related matters 2025, SB 07. Bitumen Development Commission of Nigeria, Establishment Bill 2025. Long title on page 1. Those in support that the long title on page 1 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Hence, clause 1 to 5. Those in support that clauses 1 to 5 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 6 to 10. Those in support that clauses 6 to 10 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 10 to 15. Those in support that clauses 10 to 15 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 16 to 21. Those in support that clauses 16 to 21 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 22 to 25. Those in support that clauses 22 to 25 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Interpretation clause, which is clause 26, which is on page 15. Those in support that the interpretation clause form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The short title, clause 27. Those in support that the short title form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Schedule 1 on page 16. Those in support that the schedule form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum on page 18. Those in support that the explanatory memorandum form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
I stand to move a motion that the chairman revert back to plenary in order to report progress.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary to enable the chair report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly do revert to plenary for the chair to report progress. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We revert to plenary for the chair to report progress. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Solid Minerals Development on the Bitumen Development Commission of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2025 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses 1 to 25 as recommended. Interpretation clause 26 as recommended. Short title on clause 27 as recommended. Schedule 1 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I stand to move a motion that Bitumen Development Commission Establishment Bill 2025 be now read the third time.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion that the bill be read a third time. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this bill be now read a third time. Those in support of the motion as moved and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to establish the Bitumen Development Commission of Nigeria and provide a legal framework for the promotion of research, studies, investment, exploration, production, exportation, development, and utilization of locally sourced bitumen in Nigeria and for related matters 2025. SB 07, third reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Bitumen Development Commission of Nigeria and provide a legal framework for the promotion of research, study, investment, exploration, production, exportation, development, and utilization of locally sourced bitumen in Nigeria and for related matters 2025, third reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Bitumen Development Commission of Nigeria and provide a legal framework for the promotion of research, study, investment, exploration, production, exportation, and development and utilization of locally sourced bitumen in Nigeria and for related matters 2025. Third reading taken and passed. Let me thank all distinguished senators for their contributions, and particularly the Committee on Solid Minerals Development, the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals, and also thank the mover of this bill, distinguished Senator Professor Jimo Ibrahim, the only man in the Senate with PhD in warfare, for his dexterity and his ruggedness in insisting and bringing about this Bitumen Development Commission of Nigeria. And I pray that Mr. President will, in time, give his assent to the establishment of this commission. I believe this will create jobs. This will also help us to coordinate and utilize our locally sourced bitumen so that we can save the much needed foreign exchange from importation and all that. So, distinguished Senator Jimo Ibrahim, congratulations, and congratulations to the entire Senate for their contributions and the Committee on Solid Minerals Development of the Senate for a good job. And also thank our colleagues for their contributions. And I do hope that this will also pass through the House of Representatives for a speedy assent into Act of Parliament. Congratulations. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the second order of the day is presentation and consideration of the report of Committee on Science and Technology on the Raw Materials Research and Development Council Act, Amendment Bill 2025, SB 606. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Tuesday, Aminu Iya, chairman of the committee, to move the motion for presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Abbas Aminu Iya, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I'm Senator Aminu Iya Abbas, Adamawa Central. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate do receive and consider the report on Raw Material Research and Development Council. I so move, Mr. President.
Yes. Distinguished Senator Ome.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ome, OFR. I rise to second the motion moved by Senator Abbas for him to present the report of the Committee on Science and Technology. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those in support that this report be laid and discussed by the Senate say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may proceed to lay the report. Yes, you may wish to summarize the report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, the report of the Committee on Science and Technology or Raw Material Research and Development Council. Mr. President, this bill was referred to the committee after the second reading on the 10th of December 2024. Mr. President, permit me to go to the findings and observation on page 6. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, having carefully analyzed the presentation and submission made during the public hearing vis-à-vis further consultation and interactions on the provision of the bill, the committee hereby made the following observations and findings. 1. Stakeholders vehemently support the legislative intent and purpose of the bill as contemplates to bring about value addition to the nation exploration of raw materials. 2. That the bill is capable of addressing the embarrassment faced by the country where Nigerian exportable products were rejected internationally on the ground that they do not meet the export standards. 3. That the proposed legislation will boost the local manufacturing and enhance job creation as well as reduce overdependence on imports. 4. That the bill seeks to sustain economic growth in line with the policy direction of the current administration of Nigeria Force, introduction of raw material processing and local production are protected in accordance with the transformative initiative of the government. Recommendation. The Senate Committee on Science and Technology, to which this bill was referred to, having considered same, hereby recommend as follows: that the Senate do consider and pass the Raw Material Research and Development Council Act 2022 Amendment Bill 2025. I so move, Mr. President.
Leader of the Senate, you may proceed to move a motion for us to go to Committee of the Whole to consider this amendment.
Mr. President, I stand to move a motion that the Senate do resolve into Committee of Whole to consider the report. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion that the Senate resolves into a Committee of the Whole to consider the report. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly do revert to Committee of the Whole for further consideration of the report. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
This long one. This one.
Distinguished colleagues, Raw Materials Research and Development Council Act 2022, Amendment Bill 2025, SB 606. Those in support that the long title on page 1 remain part of the amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 2 to 6. Those in support that clauses 2 to 6 remain part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The short title on page 14. Those in support that the short title remain part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum found on page 15. Those in support that this forms part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, I stand to move a motion that you revert back to plenary for Mr. President to report progress.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary to enable the Senate President report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So, South. Thank you, sir. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Science and Technology on the Raw Materials Research and Development Council Act 2022, Amendment Bill 2025, and approved as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses 1 to 5 as recommended. Interpretation clause nil. Short title on clause 6 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Raw Materials Research and Development Council Act Amendment Bill 2025 be now read the third time. I so move, Mr. President.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, colleagues, I second the motion that the bill be read the third time. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this bill be now read a third time. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to amend the Raw Materials Research and Development Act, Cap R3, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for the protection and development of Nigerians' local manufacturing processing industries, and for other related matters 2025, third reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the Raw Materials Research and Development Act, Cap R3, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for protection and development of Nigeria's locally manufactured and processing industries and for other related matters 2025. Third reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the Raw Materials Research and Development Act, Cap R3, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for protection and development of Nigeria's local manufacturing and processing industries and for other related matters 2025. Third reading taken and passed. Let me thank our committee on Science and Technology on this Raw Materials Research and Development Council Act Amendment Bill, and to say that I'm particularly excited because of the various amendments proposed in this act. A good example is that it will now ensure, as stated therein, that raw materials exported from Nigeria will not be exported without undergoing a minimum of 30% value addition. This, in essence, means that it will reduce the import of raw materials that are available for local production in the country so as to protect local industries and safeguard local manufacturers from unfair competition, thereby encouraging the growth of local industries. That it will stimulate economic growth and development, thereby creating job opportunities in domestic industries. It will increase capacity to reduce reliance on totally imported raw materials. It will promote sustainable resource management, environmental protection through the adoption of best practices in the utilization of locally sourced raw materials, and in addition, it will reduce carbon footprints. This will support the adoption of advanced processing technologies in local industries to improve efficiency and product quality. So the days of total export of raw materials without any local input is gone. And at least 30% of it will be done in-house. This will create a lot of local industries, at least to process part of what is to be exported. And those who want raw materials will want to come here and set up local industries. So I congratulate the committee, I congratulate the entire Senate, and I congratulate Nigerians that at least a step in the right direction towards industrialization. Congratulations. Leader of the Senate. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators, the third order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions on the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 864. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, you will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 25th June 2025. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Ali Sharafaddin Abiodun, chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Sharafaddin Abiodun.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I'm Sharafaddin Abiodun Ali, representing Oyo South Senatorial District. I humbly move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions on the Agricultural Research Council Act Amended Bill 2025 SB 864. I so move, Mr. President.
Any seconder? Yes, distinguished Senator Garba Maidoki.
The Senate President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Garba Musa Maidoki. I rise to second the motion on the report of the Senate Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions on the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2025. I so second. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this report be now laid before the Senate. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We will proceed to lay the report. Please summarize the report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Senate at its plenary on Wednesday, 17 July 2024, deliberated on the general principles of the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2025. And after extensive deliberations, the bill was read.
You know, the man strikes me as if he has passed through the
The
Senate.
first Committee on Agricultural Quality.
Some people do that. Yes.
Sponsored by Senator Abba Moro and was filed on 25th of June 2024. The bill, consent upon the session by the committee on the bill, the following observations and findings were made. That the bill was assented to by Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in February 2025. But at the point of implementation, it was discovered that the agricultural technology that is put in there was too narrow in scope. Hence, the need to change the name of the college from Federal College of Agricultural Technology, Opialu Ojapo, Benue State, to Federal College of Agriculture and Technology, Opialu Ojapo, Benue State. That the intent of the bill is to change the name of the college from what was assented to Federal College of Agriculture and Technology, and that the bill conforms to normative drafting standards, and that the changing the name of the college will widen the scope of the college to actualize its core objectives. The committee recommendation, the committee having considered the proposed bill and taking into account its relevance to the development of this country, hereby recommend that the Senate do consider and pass the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2025. I so move, Mr. President. Thank you.
Yes, the leader of the Senate, you may wish to invite us to proceed to committee of the whole to continue with this report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I move that the Senate resolves into a committee of the whole to further consider the bill. Also,
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those in support that we resolve into committee of the whole to continue the consideration of this report, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We proceed to committee of the whole.
You want the job more than.
Report of the bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Cap A12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 rather, for just the name change and for matters connected therewith, 2005 SB 864. Agricultural Research Council Act Amendment Bill. The intent of the bill is to ensure the change of the name of the college from Federal College of Agricultural Technology, Obialu Ojapo, Benue State, to Federal College of Agriculture and Technology, Obialu Ojapo. Long title on page 1. Those in support that this forms part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 2 to 3. Those in support that this forms part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The short title on clause 3, which is on page 1. Those in support that this forms part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum on page 1. Those in support that this forms part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, sitting as chair. Very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Senate reverts to plenary to enable the chairman report progress. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverts to plenary to enable the chair report progress.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those in support that we revert to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions on the Agricultural Research Council Act Amendment Bill 2025 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses 1 to 2 as recommended. Clause 3, the short title as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the bill be now read for the third time. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the bill be read a third time. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved that this bill be now read a third time. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigerian Act Number 1, 2025, to make provisions for the change of name of the college from the Federal College of Agricultural Technology, Obialu Ojapo, Benue State, to Federal College of Agriculture and Technology, Obialu Ojapo, Benue State, and for other related matters 2025, third reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Number 1, 2025 to make provisions for the change of name of the college from Federal College of Agricultural Technology, Obialu Ojapo, Benue State, to Federal College of Agriculture and Technology, Obialu Ojapo, Benue State, and for related matters 2025, third reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, A bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act number 1, 2025 to make provisions for the change of name from Federal College of Agricultural Technology, Obialo Ojakbo, Benue State, to Federal College of Agriculture and Technology, Obialo Ojakbo, Benue State, and for related matters, 2025, third reading taken and passed. Let me thank the Committee on Agricultural Institutions for a speedy job well done. And thank all my colleagues for their contributions. And I hope that this change of name will now fully and statutorily establish this college without any ambiguity. And I hope that those who pass through will benefit from it. And thank the good people of Benue State for this, and particularly the minority leader of the Senate, distinguished Senator Abba Moro, for his eagle eye in spotting the slight difference in the name of the college. And thank all distinguished senators for their patience and contributions. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth order of the day is a motion standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Sulaiman Umar Sadiq Amer on the preponderant need to engage local indigenous contractors for the execution of small-scale federal government contracts to stimulate grassroots economic development. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Sulaiman Umar Sadiq to move the motion.
Distinguished Senator Umar Sadiq.
Thank you, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues. I am Sadiq Suleiman Umar. I represent the good and decent people of Kwara North, and we who are. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I move for the preponderant need to engage local indigenous contractors for the execution of small-scale federal government contracts to stimulate grassroots economic development. The Senate notes that the Federal Republic of Nigeria is committed to fostering inclusive economic growth, reducing poverty, and creating sustainable development and employment opportunities for its teeming population. Also notes that small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, and local contractors represent the bedrock of the Nigerian economy, possessing vast potential for job creation, wealth distribution, and local capacity building, particularly at the grassroots level. Further notes that despite existing local content policies and initiatives, including the Renew Hope Infrastructure Development Fund by the current administration, numerous small-scale federal government contracts, particularly below 50 million naira, are often executed by larger non-indigenous firms, thereby limiting direct economic benefits to local communities and stifling the growth of nascent indigenous enterprises across the 774 local government areas. And reiterates that engaging local contractors for such contracts will significantly enhance community participation, job creation, increase productivity, foster a sense of ownership, in public projects and ensure that government spending directly circulates within local economies. Accordingly, resolves to 1. Urge federal government through BPP to immediately adopt and implement a policy mandating the preferential engagement of local and indigenous contractors whose principal place of business or whose workforce primarily resides within the local government area, where the project is to be executed for all federal government contracts of that value. 2. Also urge the federal government to consider a 3-tiered contract bidding system with a gradual increase in the bidding entry requirements and grant eligible local contractors engaged in small-scale federal contracts a tax exemption certificate from certain state or federal levies, withholding taxes related to these specific contracts for a defined period to boost their working capital and profitability. Further urge the Bureau of Public Procurement to allow local indigenous contractors to bid for contracts in their local government areas. Systems with maximum bid value at 20 million and 50 million naira as tier 1 and tier 2 respectively. To encourage low-income and tax-exempt CAC registered contractors to qualify to bid for simple projects. For example, small supplies such as agricultural inputs, empowerment materials, and food items, construction of classrooms, culverts, as well as provision of water and sanitation materials, facilities, among others. And above 50 million naira at tier 3 for more experienced contractors who would require federal government comprehensive documentation as already exists. Equally, urge the creation or strengthening of FIRS local desks within the 774 local government areas to enable easy and direct provision of tax exemption and clearance certificates through the available banks within the local government for a seamless delivery of necessary documentation for pre-qualification. And mandate the Committee on Procurement to invite BPP for engagements on planning and implementation. I so move, Mr. President.
Yes.
Yes, this is Senator Sani Musa.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I'm Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East. I stand to support this motion because of its importance to the economic inclusion of our most local contractors. There are projects today you will see at your locality. You can have someone that can execute that project, but due to certain reasons and conditions that are laid, such people are not given that opportunity. Then you will see someone will come from somewhere. You can see a project in Zamfara, which a local contractor in Zamfara can execute, but that will not be possible. You will now need to get somebody from Cross River to go to, or you will see somebody from Zamfara going to Cross River to execute a very small project, small amount of projects. So I think this kind of motions are important, especially for the Bureau for Public Procurement to look at how they can set up this tier 1, tier 2, and possibly tier 3, so that there will be economic inclusivity. We are talking of financial power to the people. How do our people get that financial stability when we create blockage in the regulations or the kind of guidelines we set? Recently, the federal government have given the threshold, have increased the threshold of contracts. Doing so will also make it very difficult for local contractors to be able to gain into it. So my appeal is that the federal government should look at the possibility of assisting these local contractors, especially those with low income. A project or a bricklayer or a iron bender that can do a project of 50 million naira will not be able to do it locally. They will bring somebody from somewhere to come and do it because he has been able to meet all the requirements. So all we need to do is to ask BPP to adjust their requirements so that everyone will be able to at least gain, and that will raise the economic activities in our localities. I so support this motion, and I believe that all the resolution in it will be taken. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Nengi.
As always, my name is Senator Abdul Ningi, and representing Bauchi Central, Bauchi State. Mr. President, yesterday I had a very long time in trying to understand this motion, but today I read for the second time, and I now understand it is just like the local content bill that relates to oil producing issues, oil producing communities, to the BPE. Mr. President, I have not seen any Nigerian that undertakes contract in United States or America or Germany. But here, because of the high requirements actually extended by BPE to all the contractors without reservations, it becomes very problematic. Even as simple as small contract of dredging a road, of doing a rural road, curtail some of our people in the possibility of not undertaking. They have the money, but because of the excessive requirements that the BP puts across, they are
Your mic.
the BPE as a government agency to say, see, we have passed this BPE Act, and we have seen how it works for over a decade or so. These are some of the loopholes we have discovered, and in discovering these loopholes, the Parliament and the Senate in particular, as a People's Parliament, recognizes the fact that people are sidelined. Our people do not have the wherewithal all the time to be able to do the job. So we have to reflect that as an answer to some of the weaknesses we have seen in the bill. Even though we can correct it later, but this is just about calling the attention of the BP to say, please, while you are doing this thing, look at what you have discovered over time. So I think this particular motion is timely, is welcome. This is people's motion. This is local people's motion. For some of us who were local contractors before coming to the National Assembly, this is a very good feeling. And I look back and I have led people who are unable to meet up because they don't have these requirements. Even while I was outside there, it took time for me to also meet the requirements of the BPE. But I'm certainly sure if the BPE listens to the Senate, particularly on this bill, once transmitted through the Committee on the Legislative Compliance, I'm sure a lot of goodies will come for Nigerians. And once Nigerians are able to do these local jobs, it will be good for the economy and it will be good for our developmental purposes. Mr. President, I thank you as always for calling me to contribute.
Well, I don't know, but my personal opinion will be that where we notice that it is becoming very cumbersome for local contractors to qualify to do jobs, we should amend the act. We should just amend the act and look at it so that we can encourage local contractors. Because what we are doing now is that none of us can go to Germany and win a job. We cannot go to China now and win a job. But you will see that even grading of roads are won by Chinese. Sweeping of roads are won by Chinese. So what happens to the local people? So we look at the act, because if you call the BPE now, or BPP, the Bureau of Public Procurement, they will tell you that they are obeying the Act. So if we have seen the loopholes in the Act, as much as we take this motion now, calling attention, but we should do the needful, which is to reduce and make it flexible for our local contractors to participate and not for us to continue to give away our jobs and continue to fritter away our foreign exchange. I don't know whether let distinguished Senator Alero say something, then DSP you can rang up. Unless
thank you, Mr.
Chairman
President.
Appropriation, unless you have something to say.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues. I think you hit the nail on the head by mentioning the Public Procurement Act, which is really very, very cumbersome.
Yes.
It has made it very, very difficult for local contractors to bid and succeed in securing contracts. So, as good as this motion is, I'm afraid we cannot do anything without amending the Public Procurement Act. Unless we do so, it will be difficult for BPP to do anything because they are simply complying with whatever is contained in the Public Procurement Act. So, Mr. President, I move that we should reenact the Public Procurement Act so that we will make it possible for local contractors to participate in executing projects. Like you rightly said, no Nigerian contractor, no matter how highly qualified he is, can go to China or Britain and secure a job. I know it is very, very difficult. So I don't see why we should not allow our indigenous contractors to participate in construction industry, for example. So what you said is very, very true. Public Procurement Act need to be amended. Thank you.
You know, yes, so that DSP can round off.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I also want to toe your lane. Mr. President, you will vividly recollect I was the chairman, Senate Committee on Local Content during the 8th Senate. And something of this nature we have started, especially in the oil and gas industry, with the passage of the NOGIC Act. And what the NOGIC Act simply says that no contract in the oil and gas sector.
Point of order, Mr. President. Point of order.
Point of order. Point of order.
Mr. Senator, he's talking without a cap.
Which order?
No, he has put the cap, Mr.
I'm wearing suit. I'm wearing suit. I'm wearing suit. I'm wearing suit. This is a French suit. I'm wearing a French suit. I don't need a cap. I'm wearing a French suit.
Point of information. Point of information.
Point of order.
Point of information.
I'm wearing a
Point
French
of
suit.
information. Point of information.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President,
Point of information.
what the NOGIC Act
Information.
simply states. You can now use that foreign contractor as your technical partner. That was the basis of the NOGIC Act. And in the 9th Senate, there was an attempt by the then chairman of the Local Content Committee to now expand this act. I think Senator Slim Folani, I was in the 8th Senate. Senator Folani was in the 9th Senate. And there was an attempt by the 9th Senate to expand the act beyond the oil and gas sector. And I want to use this opportunity to call on the chairman local content now to go that direction, to revisit that act and expand the scope to cover every sector of the economy. With that act and the BPP, we are covered already. So that is the direction in which we should go. Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah.
Well guided. The DSP, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. Even though he has touched on an area that I wanted to talk about, first of all, let me commend the mover of the motion for bringing this motion forward, because we are being shortchanged. Our contractors are being shortchanged in their land, because jobs, contracts that are supposed to be awarded and executed by local contractors are given to foreigners. It's not as if we don't like foreigners, but no, people should not remain jobless. Those who have taken onto themselves to be local contractors, they should be patronized. Yes, this motion is apt, but that's why I've been raising my hand since. The public procurement act cannot solve, changing it alone, cannot solve the problem. It cannot solve the problem. The position canvassed by Senator Olamileko is the right way to go. We need to amend Local Content Act, not to only confine it to oil and gas, because it is now, it's only confined to oil and gas, things, but it should be expanded. I don't know those who brought about the bill in the first place, which was passed to us, restricted themselves to the oil and gas, whereas we have a larger, very large economy. It should touch on every area. So I want to appeal to the mover of the motion. Please move up the motion. Well, I should speak to the chair anyway, to the president. So he should bring forward bills to amend the Public Procurement Act and the Local Content Act to include all areas of our economy, not only allowing the act to be restricted to oil and gas alone. I so submit, Mr. President.
Well, we've almost exhausted everything. Because let me just mention my experience when I was a governor. Most technical jobs, like what I call the underground pipe junction drainage system, that had not been done in Nigeria before, I gave it out to international companies, and they brought in consultants from outside because there was none in Nigeria, and the major highways that but most of the streets and other small side roads, and even rural town, rural farm roads, we gave them out to local contractors. So we had a mix, and people were happy. But what is happening now with the Bureau of Public Procurement is that their requirements are such that only the foreign contractors can meet up, and so local people are mostly shut out. So I think the suggestion is apt that we look at the, what is happening in the local content. Your microphone.
Every contract that is awarded, 1% of that contract is remitted back to the local content development management board, in which the local contractor now have access to borrow money from, so that they can equip themselves to be able to participate in any contract whatsoever at any level. So it's enough thing in that act that if we expand that particular act, it will cover all this area, all this fair we are looking at.
Information. Okay, so distinguished Senator Igbizagwa, you haven't said anything today.
Mr. President of the Senate, my very distinguished colleagues, this motion is very, very important and very, very apt, because it is addressing the grassroots problems where local contractors need to strive to exist. Now we have spoken concerning BPP or amendment to the Procurement Act of 2007. I want to tell us that it is not the major issue. The major issue is the requirements that are attached to the contract by the contract holder. A situation where we will be requesting for 3 years tax clearance, 3 years audited account. Now, as a contractor that is just starting business newly, and you are expecting him that he should have worked for 3 years and he should have been able to produce 3 years tax clearance. In addition, you also talk about the value or the ceiling, that if you have not executed a particular contract value, you cannot participate in that contract. It's another issue. You also talk about experience. Experience, you gather experience from somewhere, you need to start from somewhere else. The young shall grow. Now, if we look at all these requirements and we play down on them, I think the local contractor, the grassroots contractor, will be able to strive in this terrain. So that is my own candid recommendation, not necessarily to talk to BPP or to look at the art. The contract order also has role to play in this exercise. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you for your contribution. Yes, the Senator Jimo Ibrahim.
Thank you very much, Mr. Senate President. My name is Jimo Ibrahim from Ondo South. Mr. Senate President, our laws must reflect our values. When the colonial master came, and that was the information I wanted to supply to you, Mr. Senate President, and the chambers, they said any act of ours that's inconsistent with their custom is repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience. In this matter, there is no covering the field issue. The law must be holistic. We must come up with development, just like you came out the case in Akwa Ibom. We must go back and look at that one as a case study to ensure that governors comply with domestic participation and encouragement of our entrepreneurs. There is no way we can grow as a nation if we allow, after independence, post-colonization of our economy and praxis is unacceptable. So to me, I believe that we must go back to what the original thesis and use Akwa Ibom as a case study during your time and allow the governors to ensure that our laws reflect our value. But we must start the foundation from here. The law must be there to provide the premise upon which you can base so many things. And there is not any law here, Mr. Senate President, that covers the field. We need to be concerned about the issue of covering the fields in our legislation. There's a lacuna here. And Lord then he said, where we find lacuna in our laws, we must strive very quickly to create one and ensure that those lacunas are filled. So this lacuna, we can't carry it over in your own presidency at the 10th Senate to the 11th Senate. Now we must act. When issues like this, we must discuss them. When issues like this, fundamentally, we must distill them to value creation. When issues like this, poverty issue should be eradicated completely. And the only way we can do this one is to ensure that we have a general law that covers the entire field in the award of contracts. I want to thank you very much for giving me this short time to give this very important information. We cannot continue to be declaring our own contractual law as repugnant to our own value and culture. Rather, it is the Onyibo laws that are inconsistent, that are repugnant to natural justice of our economic growth, of our social development, of our relative advancement, and we must say no. Thank you, sir.
Yes, the underlying tone of your contribution is that we should not make laws and bring up conditionalities that are repugnant to fairness, natural laws, justice, equity, and good conscience. Like Senator Ibisawa pointed out, somebody must start from somewhere. So if in just cleaning of road or bring up 3 years tax clearance, 3 years experience, what about the young child that just graduated from university and just registered a company just 1 year ago? That means he has to wait for 3 years, and within the 3 years, he cannot get a job. So where will he get the job to have the experience for 3 years and tax clearance for 3 years? So sometimes we take a step forward and then 2 steps backwards. So we must now begin to address issues that will protect our people, because we are not protecting Nigerians with the kind of laws that we are making, and most of the conditionalities that are being placed, not just by the Bureau of Public Procurement, by even the MDAs that are awarding jobs. And also we have forgotten that we have enough laws in Nigeria that if you have an international organization that comes to do a contract in Nigeria, like the hydro dams, or like the underground pipe jacking drainage system I mentioned, there should also be technology transfer. So they should employ local engineers in order to ensure technology transfer within 3 years. But most of the time, they bring in people from outside to the total exclusion of Nigerians. And Nigerians are left to just supply water or supply sand. They don't participate in the construction. So at the end, there is no technology transfer. And so we can't continue to do the same thing over and expect to have experience. So I think it's important for this 10th Senate to begin a holistic study of these things, and where we need to tinker with our acts, we do so, and to protect Nigerians. It's very important that our people should now begin to build local manpower. So, Senator Oshomole, there must be something you want to add from the labor angle, even though your khaki, like I pointed out in the morning, does not reflect the khaki of labor. This is a bourgeoisie khaki. This is a special linen material, so I don't understand whether it's still a comrade.
Thank you very much, sir. With your permission, and I take your pronouncement as a ruling, I shall come fully in my khaki, and no senator may harass me on account of my choice of dressing. Because some people have insisted I must dress like them.
Your microphone, sir.
Is one senator who advised me that there is a plan to walk me out. And by the time they walk out, wadada for no wearing tie. That's why we see sometimes I'm wearing this umbrella. No, sorry, not umbrella. I'm wearing this South cap. Some other time, I'm now in search of identity. But talking seriously on this matter, I think we have to be completely holistic in reviewing the situation that we are in. And I'm very happy that, Mr. President, you are the one presiding, and you must have dealt with Kasina. Zango. No, but I want the full attention of Mr. President. Sir, I think you said it. My experience, and I'd like to share that, is that we also have to educate, persuade, and enlighten Nigeria businessmen and women, particularly the construction industry. Because what I found, and I'm now talking of my experience, we awarded a contract to a Nigerian contractor who seems to have all the equipment, so I thought. In the end, at least I had 3 terrible experiences in trying to be patriotic, not only to give contract to a Nigerian, but the Nigerian that has stake in my state. What did I find? I was forced to have to revoke that contract because of the poor quality of work. Mr. President, sir, if you go around Abuja, you will notice 2 categories of contractors. You will see a high-rise building, 2-story building, a story building, and they are using local bamboo to do scaffolding. Rather than invest over time to buy scaffolding, they go to the bush, they are felling trees to still use them the way it was being done during the era of Mongo Park. So the Nigerian contractors have to invest in equipment. They have to invest in training and retraining of Nigerian workers. Because nobody wants to throw money away in the name of patriotism to a contractor who in the end will give you a job that can't stand the test of time. This is the only country you build a road. 2-3 years later, it has potholes. Even though foreigners are also involved in this, because some of the supervisory agencies are not doing their job. So I don't want us to have a generalized commitment about, I think every case should be dealt with on case-by-case basis. Lastly, the issue of 3 years. We need to do thorough investigation. Nobody can ask me to bring my tax clearance before I was born. So if a company was registered in 2024 and it bids for contract in 2025, I do not see anyone asking such a new company to produce 3 years of taxes before when it was not yet in existence. What they might do is to ask you to look at your members of staff, whether you have the right engineers, electrical, mechanical, and civil, to be able to handle the kind of job you are bidding for. I do not want us to deceive ourselves that we have people in the Bureau of Public Procurement that says bid 3 years contract experience.
That's what is actually happening.
Then somebody is doing something wrong. If you ask me generally, even the Bureau of Public Enterprises, to be very honest with you, in my opinion, they are adding no value. They add no value. It is just another toll gate, another bottleneck that leads to all sorts of delays. What do they do differently? How can you have a bureau that is specialized in electronic? They are specialized in civil. They are specialized in mechanical. They are specialized in chemical. Where are the expertise in that bureau? I understand the intention, but the truth, it has led to endless delays. When I was governor, I used to tell them I am a contract worker because my time is limited. A job I want to do for 3 months is taking you 6 months to do the evaluation. In the end, contracts are still inflated when these agencies choose to oblige. So I think it's something that we need, even if it's a small committee, to interface with them so we understand really what is going on. I am worried about a general policy of give all contract to the native or give all contract to foreigners. I think everything should be based on case-by-case basis, depending on the kind of job and the kind of contractor that is bidding for the job. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. I think at this stage we can go into the prayers. Senator Musawa, is anything new? Unless it's something new. Yes, Senator Mustafa.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Saliu Mustafa, representing Kwara Central. Mr. President, most of the contributions let them conclude. Even those importing workers. Distinguished colleagues, in aligning with most of the contributions, I want us to also look at not just the contract securing, but those who do the labor, the manual labor of these contracts. we are looking away from that side. Most of the contracts awarded to even the foreign companies, they now import their own labor to our country. If you also look at even those at the airport now, they will tell you they have grade A worker, grade B, grade C. Nigerians are qualified for only grade D workers. And we have seen instances where they bring prisoners to come and do labor work here. So if we are trying to create an enabling environment for our companies to strive, we should also create the environment that will assist our graduates in securing jobs in most of these foreign companies or even most of these projects that are being executed. So I want us to look inward in that area too, so that we can protect our graduates and our local laborers too. Thank you, sir.
Distinguished colleagues, DSP, you had made your contribution. You want to say something? Okay. Let us look at the prayers, but let us try to reduce the prayers to maybe one or two. Let's summarize the prayers in one or two. Distinguished Senator Yaya, our leader, you try and see whether you can. Let's look at the prayers. Senator Sadiq Umar.
Yeah.
The prayers really should be compressed into one or two, based on the submission of our colleagues.
We consulted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Yahya Abdullahi, representing KB North. I just want to, with your permission, to amend prayer 1, which now to read as follows. Urge our committees on public procurement and local content to engage the Bureau of Public Procurement and Nigeria Local Content Development Agency with a view to amending the Procurement Act and the Local Content Act to provide for preferential treatment of local contractors and businesses in the procurement of local goods, works, and services.
Yes, is there any, in other words, prayer 1 is to be amended as read.
Yes, sir.
Any seconder? Yes, Senator Sani Musa.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I'm Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East. I stand to second the amendment to the motion, amendment to resolution of the motion, so that we adopt it as amended. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, prayer 1 earlier stated here that we should urge the Bureau of Public Procurement and to implement a policy of mandating the preferential treatment of local and indigenous contractors. That has been amended to read that we should urge the Committee on Public Procurement and Local Content to immediately liaise with the Bureau of Public Procurement with a view to amending our Procurement Act and the Local Content Act to enable local contractors benefits okay. If I say as amended, we may not really get the grasp. So if you've written it down, let's hear.
Mr.
President, this is a one motion prayer. And by your leave, I can just read what I have drafted. This time around is not to urge. Direct the mover of the motion, Senator Sadiq Suleiman Umar, to liaise with the leadership of the local content and BPE committees with a view to bringing about the amendment canvassed by the senators today. Something like that, yeah.
So
Why I say this, I agree with the amendment, but it's too fluid. This is open-ended.
Yes.
This is just about directing the mover of the motion to liaise with the leadership of the two committees to bring about this possible amendment. Stop, full stop.
Well, he has handed over the motion to the Senate. So it is now the Senate, the committees of the Senate should now be mandated by the Senate. So, Senator, let's get you that we should mandate the Committee on Local Content and the Committee on Public Procurement to liaise with Bureau of Public Procurement with a view to amending the Local Content and the Bureau of Public Procurement Act to accommodate newly registered contractors or newly registered companies and local contractors and service providers in contract execution. Full stop. Put it properly and so that the secretariat can capture it. Come, Colonel, you are distracting the clerk. Clerk, repeat what I said. No, repeat what I said. No, I'm directing you to repeat what I said. Because you can't be, when such, we are trying to get, these issues are very serious. Because they will change the dynamics of contracting in Nigeria and also assist our people to rise. You can't have experience if you do not have an opportunity. Somebody must give you the opportunity for you to acquire experience. Distinguished colleagues, prayer 1 as amended and seconded. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Is there any additional thing we should add? Because this will take care, this prayer will cure all the defects that we have seen in the system. Then on prayer 4, it said urge the creation of or strengthening of the FRS local desk within the so no. This is not for us. Which FRS has ceased to be FRS, just to note, is now NRS, Nigerian Revenue Service, no longer Federal Inland Revenue Service. But so this prayer has captured everything. So are you satisfied? So go ahead and let us know that you have adopted that as your prayer for the entire
Thank you,
motion.
Mr. President. The prayer as amended will therefore now cover all the other prayers. Those details will be dealt with at committee level and those agencies levels.
So let me thank the Senior Senator Sadiq Umar for his observation and for bringing this motion to the fore. And thank all our distinguished senators for really painstakingly listening and contributing. Because with the prayers that we have adopted today, I believe this will cure all the defects that we have found in the contracting system and the shortchanging of local contractors and even the unnecessary conditionalities of experience when you have never been given an opportunity. And also the idea of shutting out newly registered companies from participating even when the profile of the board members or the ownership, clearly show capacity to perform, but they do not have 3 years tax clearance and all those things. Those requirements should be there in certain contracts, but not in all contracts. And so I thank all of you, and I hope that as we do the amendments, we'll be able to cater for all those things so that Nigerians that have the capacity, whether the company new or not, will be able to get jobs and also build the experience that is required for future jobs in the country. And also stop the idea of bringing low-level workers to come and take the jobs that could have been done by Nigerians. And so further worsening our unemployment situation in the country. So these are things I think we ought to. These things were discussed 30, 40 years ago, but I don't know why everything seems to have been forgotten. And people will now get contracts, but go back to their countries and bring workers to come and pour sand, do this, and then flood the whole system with renegades and criminals and all sort of unskilled laborers when we have enough unskilled labor within the country. So I thank all our colleagues, and I know that this amendment of these two laws will help to curb those situations and create more employment opportunities for our children and create opportunities for them to also gain experience so that they can also go out to other countries and bid for jobs. I thank you. Thank you. Okay, so you will mandate the Senate Committee on Public Procurement and the Senate Committee on Local Content to engage the Bureau of Public Procurement and Nigerian Local Contents Development Authority with a view to amending the Procurement and Local Content Acts to provide for, I don't want to use the word preferential, to provide a level playing field or to, you said preferential treatment. No, not, it shouldn't be preferential treatment. It should be to provide for local participation. Huh? Canvas for local contractors and startup businesses to partake in the procurement of local contracts, local goods, local works, and service provision. So look at it from that angle. The word preferential should not be there so that they won't say you are discriminating. Yes. Just to make it easy, in fact, to lower the entry barrier, to allow for newly registered companies and then reduce the conditionalities, unnecessary bottlenecks that tend to bar our people from partaking or participating in contracts. You will clean it up. Thank you. So, Leader of the Senate, having concluded the day's sittings, you may wish to.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I'm sure in another 10 minutes I'll be able to say exactly that. But at this point, the fifth order of the day is a motion standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Abiru Mukail Adetokunbo on the investigative hearing into the operations of Ponzi schemes in Nigeria, with particular reference to the recent crypto bullion exchange CBEX incident. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Abiru Mukail Adetokunbo to move the motion.
Well, I was looking at the mood of the Senate and the importance of this Ponzi scheme. A lot of Nigerians have committed suicide. because Nigerians have been duped because of Ponzi scheme. So I was thinking we could take this on another day to enable us really make proper contributions. So, distinguished Senator Abiru, you may wish to approach the chair.
Senator Abiru. Senator Abiru, take your seat. Senator Juma, take your seat. Senator Kelvin Chuku. Senator Abiru, take your seat. Senator Kelvin Chuku, take your seat. Senator Abiru, take your seat. Senator Abiru, take your seat. Senator Kelvin Chuku.
Senator Abiru, take your seat.
Distinguished colleagues, the following distinguished senators have been co-opted into the Ad hoc Committee on National Security Summit, the Planning Committee. Distinguished Senator Salio Mustafa, Distinguished Senator Father Honsif Francis Adenigba, Distinguished Senator Jimmy Kuta, Distinguished Senator Sani Musa. This is signed by the Senate Leader, Distinguished Senator Bamidele Michael Opeyemi, CON. Whenever you have your committee ad hoc meetings on the Security Summit, you will also extend invitations to them. So just for the record, Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, and very distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, with respect to the discussion we just had with distinguished Senator Abiru and the other colleagues who approached the chair, and our collective resolve to suspend the only one item left on the order paper for another legislative day, may I now move that the Senate do adjourn till Tuesday, 8 July 2022. And the reason I'm making this motion, Mr. President, is because distinguished colleagues are expected to travel from today to go and attend the zonal hearings slated to hold on Friday and Saturday, with tomorrow being the arrival date in the respective geopolitical zones regarding our constitutional amendment program. And Mr. President, the only zone that was agreed by Senate to be stepped down so that they can hold their own at a later date is the Northwest zone. But the remaining 5 geopolitical zones will be proceeding with the program as scheduled. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, outside the Northwest zone, for obvious reasons canvassed yesterday, the other 5 zones will hold their constitutional amendment zonal consultations. Arrival dates will be tomorrow, Thursday, and then the 2 dates slated will be Friday and Saturday. The opening session is 10 a.m. Across the 5 zones of the country on Friday, while distinguished senators are expected to arrive. So please, all senators should endeavor to ensure that they are present in their zonal levels. If your zone has any requests that we need to include in the Constitution, this is your opportunity. So if you are not there, it means you are not doing justice to your constituents and your senatorial districts. So I urge all senators to partake and listen, so that in future you will not have anybody to blame when the final results are collated and brought forward here. On that note, the motion has been moved and seconded that we do adjourn to Tuesday, the 8th day of July 2025. Those in support of the adjournment to Tuesday 2025 at 11 a.m. prompt, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it for the first time. The Senate is adjourned to the 8th day of July 2025.